So let's get cooking. So I'm Erica, and most of you guys know that I just love spending time in the kitchen, but I actually don't love spending all my time in the kitchen. I just like doing the shortcuts so that I can get in and out and do the other things that I love doing, like reading and spending time outside when it's gorgeous like this. So since we're in October, I thought everybody might be in the mood for a fun Octoberfest themed dinner. You can just picture doing this with whatever veggies or meat you like. So really it's more about the process that we're featuring. And the cooking tool shortcut that we're going to use to get this done is the new deluxe air fryer and oven. So what's so cool about this is it's two different cooking vessels, top and bottom. It's a toaster oven on top and an air fryer on the bottom. So the very first thing I'm gonna do is preheat this. And what's really cool is you can do two different baking methods at the same time. And what's really cool is I can turn this on and turn on a sync button. So if I have two different things that cook at two different times, the machine will know when to start one, and then so that they get done at the exact same time. So it like is your brain for you. So I'm just gonna turn this on, and then we're going to hit the sync button, and that'll let me do two different cooking times at once. So on the bottom, we're gonna hit roast. It's already a preset, it knows what the temperature. And I'm gonna hit 55 minutes for the cabbage to roast. And then on the top part, we're gonna do a custom heat. We're gonna do 425. And we're gonna do 30 minutes. So I don't know if you can see that, but on the top, it's actually holding. It's just gonna hold, not do anything. And then the bottom is going to, because that's a longer cook time, so that's going to go ahead and start, and the top will hold off. So while it's preheating, we'll prep our ingredients. So the first thing we're gonna do is get out our sausages. So I actually have some homemade brats that my family made. Do you guys do that in your families?
No.
So around here, I love...
We buy them from the local farmer.
Yeah, well, kind of the same thing. I love the traditions around here. There's so many families that make their own, they do like a sausage making day and make their own brats and sausage.
Yeah.
And they're so good. So my mom actually, this is her special recipe for brats. It's so good. So the first thing we're gonna do is get out our sausages. So you can use like whatever sausage you like, whatever kielbasa, brat, sausage links. And we're going to use the tray that comes with the toaster oven, and then I lined it with foil. And I did discover it is definitely better to oil it. So I just have some olive oil. This guy is the olive oil dispenser. So you can actually measure, if you need to, 1 or 2 or 3 teaspoons of oil, and it does it for you. So you don't have to like get out a measuring spoon, but I'll just drizzle a little and then brush that around. I like to use the silicone basting brush anytime you have to spread around butter or oil, because you can actually like get these bristles clean. So make sure that's oiled real well. And I like to use the foil just for easier cleanup. And we are just going to set the sausage links on here. And you can kind of, it's calling for 2 pounds of sausage, but you can adapt it to how many you have in your family that you're cooking for. And then a lot of times you'll see pork recipes have fruit with them. So I want to show how easy it is to prep we're gonna use an apple. So we're just gonna use the apple wedger and just push down. And then you have your apple wedges. So we're just going to arrange those on with the brats so that it'll kind of cook together and mix in those flavors with the fruit and the meat. So that's ready to throw in the oven. And then the cabbage, I actually love cabbage I think it's such an underrated ingredient because it's so cheap and it's so healthy. There's so many, I don't even know all the compounds in it, but they're so good for you, like for detoxification. And you can use it like in fresh raw salads or roast it, and I love it all the ways. So we're just gonna quarter it. And this is where it's really good. You always wanna have one really good chef's knife. This one is the 8-inch chef's knife. So this is a lifetime chef knife. So that's the one if you won't have to buy another one. So we're just quartering this, and then you can see the core. That's real easy to just pop off there. The best part about this recipe is there's a few prep steps, but then most of it's hands off. The little air fryer is going to do all the work for us. Okay, so, and then we're just going to do like a rough chop, kind of like big chunks with the cabbage. And that's going to go, this is a classic piece of stoneware that I've had for like 20 something years. And this one, you might see the newer one has a white enamel on the outside, but this is the classic. I use it and love it every day. So we're just going to do like a rough chop with the cabbage. So this cabbage is gonna roast on the bottom. And roasting does something like magical to veggies. They get all brown and they get that golden little, I don't even know how to describe it, just like bits of flavor. And I might even do a little less than the whole head just because I'm just cooking for 2 right now. But what's really cool in what we're showing tonight is that if you have 2 different things that need to cook at different times, you can hit a sync button before you pop them in, and then the machine will know when to start cooking for each item to get it done at the same time. So it takes away, like, it's one less thing you have to think about, like if you get distracted. So
nice.
so we're doing brats, and I was telling Lee my family makes their own homemade brats, so you can use whatever sausage you have, sausage links, andouille. So it's your sausage links and then an apple that we just wedge. That'll be one way to cook on top, and then the bottom I just chunked up a head of cabbage, kind of like in rough chop, and we're doing that in a stoneware dish. And I love that because I feel so much safer in a stoneware dish because I feel like it's so forgiving. You don't have to worry about anything burning. And we're going to make, this is where it gets a little more special. We're going to do a sauce that goes on the cabbage, and I'm just running down the recipe. It's from our Season's Best cookbook. So for this sauce, we're going to use apple juice, and I'm just using the silicone prep bowl. So these come in a set of 3, and what's cool is they actually have the measure marks in here. So I just measured 1.5 cups of apple juice, and then mustard, so grainy mustard, and there's 2 tablespoons of that. So this is like where all your flavor comes in. And I was telling Lee, like, if sausage and cabbage isn't your thing, you can just replace it with your meat and veggie, roasting veggie that you like. And syrup. So I happen to have some homemade maple syrup, but maple syrup is what we're using in here. It gives it like this really magical depth of flavor. It's almost a little smoky. Have you guys ever seen homemade maple syrup being made?
Yeah.
Takes a long time.
In the Appalachia, in the Appalachia area.
Yeah. Yeah, my family's done it. It's a process. But it's cool for like the kids to see how it's done and how that happens. And maple syrup, and then we're gonna use some onion mix. So you can use the Pampered Chef 3 onion rub, or I'm just using the classic Lipton onion mix. So we're doing 2 tablespoons of that. And then 2 tablespoons of butter. And we'll just kind of mix this together. Ideally you want to melt it. I have this weird thing, if I turn on the microwave, it'll turn off my internet. I live in an old house, so that's really fun. So you just mix this together. And we are going to drizzle this over the cabbage. So it's going to roast. If you can picture all these flavors, that cabbage is going to roast in that. You have your nice butter for flavor, onion, spicy mustard. Toss this around a little. And we are going to end up stirring the cabbage a few times while it cooks. So I did try this earlier today and I got to taste it. I'm so excited about making more here. Okay, so that, I'm just double checking my recipe because I don't trust myself to memorize everything. I just like to make sure I get everything. So apple juice, mustard syrup, rub in butter, and drizzle over the cabbage. Okay, so now if you guys can see on the air fryer oven, it says to add the food. So that means it is preheated. So we're putting the sausage on top and the cabbage in the bottom part. And then you just hit start. And that's what's so cool, is that it knows it's starting the one that takes longer, and then it knows when to start the one that's the shorter cook time. And I can just like get distracted and not worry about it. So that's what, I've hardly used this. I've hardly used my real oven since I've had this, because it's big enough where it acts like an oven. You can use the air fryer setting, or you can use it just like an oven. And then it's your toaster oven too, so we can do just regular toast, bagels, pizza, and just like a normal toaster oven for baking. And like for your cookies, the first time I made cookies, I didn't realize how fast it bakes your cookies. Like instead of 12, 13 minutes, they were done in like 8 minutes. So it's more, it's like a convection forced air, so it's faster. So I've just been in love with this. And then all of the electrics come with a handy cooking guide. So like with air frying, sometimes you need a little reference for how long to cook, say like pork chops, and it'll tell you. It has these really cool little charts. So I just think that's the coolest thing. I love to have that available, because sometimes you just don't really know where to start, and that gives you an idea. So then while it's cooking in the meantime, one of the really fun things with this meal is that it has a special sauce. So I've noticed sauces are something that really up-level a meal, because a lot of times you'll have that at restaurants and you don't really do it at home, but it's so easy to do at home. So we're gonna do a little sauce to dip this in. So the sauce is more apple juice, so it's 2 tablespoons of apple juice, and then it is a 1/4 cup of sour cream or the Greek yogurt, and of course I'm using my little measure all cup at a 1/4 cup. This is the one that's the best for anything like sticky, like peanut butter or honey. So I'll just drop that in there. But it's good for dry ingredients or liquid measure too. So measure all cup. So if you just have one, that one's one of my favorites. And more spicy brown mustard. So 2 tablespoons of that. These are like the classic German flavors that you think of with fall. And then your 2 tablespoons of maple syrup again. Sometimes I like things a little less sweet, so I'm just going to use 1 because I like my dessert sweet. And then just another teaspoon of the onion mixture. So the 3 onion rub that we have, it's really good. My mom is in love with it. She buys it almost in bulk because she uses it in her beef and barley soup. And like if you do a meatloaf, you can mix it in. And it's like a shortcut because it's like all the seasonings in one. You just measure 1 instead of having to measure 12 different seasonings. So we'll just whip this together for the sauce. I always think of too with brats, like a horseradish sauce. I think that would be good. But this one is like your, kind of like the sweet spicy flavor. Almost like your honey mustard pretzels. So sour cream, spicy brown mustard, maple syrup, and then your onion mixture, and then some apple juice. Okay, so that sauce is ready to go. So what I did, because I didn't want you guys to have to wait, it's just a few minutes of the hands-on prep time, but then the rest of the time it's just hands-off and you're just waiting for the machine to roast. So I did this ahead of time and I'm excited to show you guys. This is a new serving dinnerware bowl that Pampered Chef has. We actually have a whole new line of dinnerware and servingware, and it's so pretty. It's like rustic and modern at the same time. So I feel like it would go really well with whatever type of decor you have. So this one is a serving bowl, and I just love this. It makes you feel so like put together if you have a beautiful serving dish to put your meal in. So what I did was I just layered the roasted cabbage and then the sausage links and then the apples in here. So that is when it's all finished, and then you can take your sauce, drizzle it on top, like with each plate. So that's an October meal idea for you. So I hope you guys have fun trying that. And I wanted to show you, I have some exciting, there's a couple really exciting things going on right now. So is there anybody here that just loves a deal?
Yay.
Yeah, we're nodding. So there's a couple things going on right now. The classic food chopper and the rapid prep mandolin are both 15% off right now. So the food chopper is the classic food chopper that's been around forever. This probably just makes you think Pampered Chef when you see it. And then the rapid prep mandolin, this is the one that's a little bit newer, and I love this style of mandolin because when you're using it, your hands aren't by the blade. What's happening is you're using the safety food chute, and then you're pushing food through and you're just tapping on the top, so your hands aren't by there. So you don't have to worry about that every time I pull out a mandolin, somebody gives me a horror story about cutting their finger. So this mandolin has that built-in safety feature. And then this one's really cool because I've had a lot of people ask if we have a French fry cutter, and we don't necessarily, but with this, you can do that. So you can do slices, if you can see the dials, and then you can do julienne strips. So you can slice things and cut it into strips at the same time. So on the thickest setting, that lets you get that French fry cut. So that is what is going on with the sale items right now. And the other really fun thing is, if you fall in love with one of the electrics or something that maybe you don't want to use your budget for right now, let me show you the other flyer here. So in October, you can get 60% off anything. I could have you set up with your own personal shopping link that you can share with friends. And if you collect $200 in orders just from your friends, you get 60% off anything. So what that could look like is I could have you set up with your own personal shopping link in just a couple minutes. And then I know everybody's so busy. So as you go about your busy weeks, the next couple weeks, you could just ask your friends if they need anything and share that link. So, and that would give you 60% off. So, and that's any item or set. So that could be a big deal if you have your eye on a $400 set. And then there is also a special right now. This is our 45th anniversary year for Pampered Chef. So they're doing a little $19.80 offer if you would like to test out a new consultant kit and test out being a consultant. So this season, if you're having that niggling feeling that maybe you should earn some money and spend instead of spending some money, that could be something to test out. I know my favorite benefit of being a consultant is actually the personal development. Like, strangely, it's not because it's a get rich quick scheme. It's all of the things that I've learned and all the people I've met, and I just can't imagine going back and not having that in my life. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then if you have some goodies you found and you spend $90, you get a free gift with purchase. I always like to ask you guys, what was your favorite product or tool tonight? But yeah, we're done. So I'll email you guys this recipe, and I'll have the replay if anybody needs that. But yeah, so you guys have a good weekend. And so I do this every single week, every Thursday, and we do a different theme every week. So next week we're gonna do something really fun for Halloween. And then the next week after that, we're gonna do the crazy fast meal prep, where you can do like all your ingredient prep in 30 minutes on a Sunday. So stay tuned for those. I'll keep you posted.